This is Total Television at Telecoms World Middle East. I'm talking to Jan Woodcock of Wipro, who has just chaired one of the opening sessions. Jan, it was a fascinating session to a packed audience. What were the main highlights for you?
I think the highlights are the dilemma that service providers have here in the Middle East, Brian. A lot of the issues that came out of the discussion were really around how to deal with over-the-top players, how to deal with the extreme surge of data within the market, and how Do and Etisalat are really actually taking unique and dramatic moves in order to deal with that. It was a very exciting session.
Yeah, I mean, there was a call to even sort of get a share of the advertising that some of these OTT suppliers are getting, which is very, very controversial.
It's very controversial, although it is one of the options that operators are looking at. Really, how do they deal with this huge capital investment that they're making in their networks, and providing the bandwidth that's out there, while over-the-top players are actually one could say leveraging that and potentially not sharing the benefits of it. So it's a classic service provider dilemma, and I think that the point is that the call to the industry to come up with models that could deal with that, I think, is very reasonable.
Because really they've got, I think in my view, is they've got to move away from their core. They've got to get the revenue from somewhere.
They have to pay. Again, capital investment is huge in telecommunications, especially with moving from, in the Middle East, moving from 2G to 3G to LTE. Dramatic investments. And the Middle East will be leapfrogging North America and Europe in many respects because of this bandwidth that's being provided by the service provider. So it is completely reasonable, as I said.
Yeah, well, as someone who used to work for an operator myself, it hardly seems fair that they're putting all this infrastructure in for other people to benefit from.
It's true, and the question is, how do they benefit themselves, right? And there are a number of things that this convergence of distribution and content that the service providers do have. I think the other point that came out, Ahmed mentioned that this is a challenge, but it's also an opportunity, and I think that's the right mentality.
Yes, it was, but it was a very lively start to the day, and quite a lively thing for you to kick off, having just flown in from New York, I believe.
Yes, very exciting. I enjoyed it immensely. The Hatem and Ahmed are extremely good at what they do, and Do and Etisalat are both making dramatic impacts on the Middle East, and it's just so compelling, and it's very exciting to be here.
Now, when you're not chairing controversial sessions out there, you're actually working with Wipro. Can you give us a little bit of a rundown of what they do exactly?
Well, Wipro is a global services provider, and so we actually provide IT services as well as consulting services, as well as business process outsourcing services across multiple industry verticals. Telecommunications and media is one of our largest verticals, and we are we have very large growth plans and are growing quite dramatically, and it's very exciting to participate in.
And what do you think of this event? I mean, there's a massive number of operators here, as far as I can see.
This event is actually, I think, very critical. There are vendors here. We've got all of the vendors. We've got all the service providers here, not only from the Middle East. I think some are from outside the Middle East, as well as a few financial analysts, by evidence of some who asked some questions in the meeting.
Okay, well, Jan, thanks very much for finding the time to spend some time with us on Total Television.
Well, thank you, Brian. Have a great day.